and welcome. I am the Sterling, and today we'll be playing Going Medieval. In the last episode, we finished the dungeon tower, but haven't tested it out with any prisoners just yet. We were also attacked several times, one of which we got our donkey absolutely handed to us and learnt that this design just doesn't cut it. And so in this episode, I'm going to rectify this. So sit back, grab a cold one, and let's get started. So we've established that this doesn't work anymore. The vast number of enemies just bulldoze down through these doors. So we're going to come up with a better design. I can't keep just extending this corridor of death. As it stands right now, it's in the bloody way. So then what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to keep the same concept. I'm just going to put it at ground level. Now, this is going to take quite a lot of work, but it will be a much better design as the settlers will be able to cross over the top of it without any issues. Now, in R&D, I've built several different variations of what it is I've got planned. Some look better than others. And the one thing I found is the good-looking versions of what I've got planned just don't cut it. The best-looking version I had used grated floors and limestone floors in a particular pattern that made it actually sort of blend in and you could barely notice it. It almost looked like a drainage system. But because of the limestone block floors, it actually made it quite difficult for the settlers to shoot at the enemy, making it impractical. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to go the ugly route, but at least it will be practical. In the design that I've got, we're also going to need to dig into this wall, which will in fact cause some of the soil above to collapse. Luckily for us though, the actual entrance doesn't collapse. Once we've actually finished building the new design for the defense, I can easily just go up into the front entrance and then lay the soil back where it collapsed, resealing Ironhold from the environment. So that's not an issue. But my new design actually involves something we haven't unlocked yet. So if we come up to the research tab and click on defensive structures 4, it unlocks two new things, the portcullis and a fire trap. Now I know some of you are probably getting excited with me going fire trap, but no, that's not what we're actually going to be using in this new defense. It's actually the portcullis that we're going to be using. To unlock defensive structures level 4, it will cost 20 chronicles, 10 textbooks, 5 thesis. Let's unlock that now. Done. Now, what's the first thing we need to do? Well, remember how I extended this last episode? We're going to rip it down. The next thing we need to do is actually delete these two doors right here and these two doors in here. We then need to add soil here and then dig around here. Once this is all done, we'll be in a great position to start building the new defensive structure. So there's nothing left to do but hit play and let them get to work. And there we go. We've got a nice clean slate to work with. Now what I've got planned is essentially there'll be a set of stairs over here. The enemy will then go down these stairs and then there'll be a nice big portcullis just here where the original door used to be. And once they step through the portcullis, they'll then have a 1-block maze that runs all the way down here, across, back up, around like a snail shell, and then come down the center before coming up a set of stairs and then to the bridge. Now, as I said before, my original plan had graded floors on top, had limestone floors. It all sort of blended in with the environment. But due to the limestone block floors, I couldn't actually hit the enemy at certain angles, and so they were able to mow their way through. This new design, even though it's ugly, will actually do a better job. And the portcullis actually holds them off long enough that we can pick quite a few off. Now, through all the testing I did though, occasionally, once again, the enemy glitched and then just stood around in this corridor as per usual, or didn't even bother moving off the edge of the map. But it was still better than when I had these doors here closed. So I'm going to call that a win. So the first thing I'll do is I'll get them to dig this section out here where the actual stairs will go. Then the maze will run across here, down to here, across, all the way back up, across, and then it will expand out to a 2-block channel. Now, obviously, there's going to be grated doors the whole way through, making it a lot harder for the enemy to actually get through. We also now need to start planning out where the portcullis will go, which will be right here. So now there's nothing left to do but hit play and let them get to work. And here we go, we're being attacked. And the cheeky buggers didn't even wait for us to actually finish what we were doing. Luckily, they've been fiddling around here for a moment, so we've actually got the portcullis complete and the rest of the doors. I've also drafted everybody and got them in position, but they're taking their sweet time. And on top of this, I'm actually curious about where they're going to go because I haven't actually had time to reopen Ironhold. So I think this will be an interesting fight. Here they come. They've come straight to the front door of Ironhold, but they're standing around. They must be waiting for the battering rams to catch up. They've attacked so suddenly, I haven't even had time to actually repair the roof of Ironhold where the ceiling is collapsed. I must remember to do this after the fight. And here we go, the battering ram's coming up. Let's see how long it takes him to get through these big doors. And another battering ram's coming up from behind. Whoa, there's quite a few of these battering rams. Oh, that didn't take much. I'm actually not overly confident with how easily they broke those doors. Good news is this gives us a good chance to try out our new defense. Hopefully it works. Well, there's one down. We're firing arrows through the portcullis. Yes! They've barely even touched the portcullis at this point, but it is looking a little cracked, so it ain't going to last too much longer. That's another one down and another one. The portcullis alone is doing a lot of work. Maybe I should use more portcullises. Portcullises? Is that the word? Doesn't matter. My grammar isn't important right now. What is important is how many of the enemy we're taking out, which is a lot. Though there was about 87 or so that have spawned in, so there's still quite a few left. But the battering rams don't seem to be coming down. We have taken a few of the battering rams out, though I suspect there's still a few left. And here we go. They're coming to attack, and they're through the portcullis. Now they're into the maze, and we're just picking them off one by one. But where they're standing at the moment, at the entrance of the maze, we can't actually hit them. But in saying that, we actually are. So maybe I'm mistaken. And look at everybody we're picking off here. They haven't even got to the first door of the maze. I'm actually getting more and more confident in our design. And what are the silly buggers doing with the portcullis at the moment? Open, close, open, close, open, close. Okay, and they're moving. No more playing silly buggers, I guess. I am really confident with this, but let's just remember, still early days here. These greater doors are a hell of a lot easier to break through than the portcullis. But as long as we just keep firing, we should be all right. There's a lot of doors they have to get through yet, and they're only through the first one, excluding the portcullis. And they don't seem to be firing back at us at this point. In the last trials I've done with this, they do end up firing back, but they're still a bit too far away at this point. So that's good news. It's about halfway they start firing. And there's another one down. We are just butchering them. I'm really liking this so far, and I'm glad that I shrunk the size of the corridor. Making it one by one, it's almost as though the AI doesn't quite know what to do with it. Once again, they're playing silly buggers with the door standing around. Seems to be a bit of a stalemate. We're firing the odd arrow, as you can see. Oh, another one down, and another one. We better hurry up. Our settlers are becoming exhausted and starving. I would hate for our settlers to die from starvation, not from the enemy. Though then again, in saying that, that's usually how a siege works. You hold off the enemy inside their nice big fortress till they starve to death. And that's kind of what they're doing to us at this point, whilst playing with the door. Up, down, up, down. What is he doing? Bicep curls with it. Come on, I'm getting mighty. At this point, the stalemates is going forever. I could almost just undraft all our settlers, get them fed and put them to bed. I've been sitting here for ages just watching this door go up and down. It's starting to make me go to sleep. It's almost hypnotic, to be honest with you. Looking at it, we really need to find some way to be able to get the enemy. I'm wondering if we should be putting towers either side, so then we can pick the enemy off in this little channel here where we can't actually get them due to the fact there's terrain there. In past experiments with this design, I did actually have windows here, but the problem with that was the buggers just destroyed the windows and moved on. I used terrain due to the fact that the enemy would actually just break down anything that was actually man-made. So if it was built out of wood or limestone, the enemy would attack it. Where even though the enemy can actually dig through soil, they tend to not. And I'm yet to see them use a ladder to climb out of this maze. That was originally one of the reasons why, in fact, I did put greater flooring down, was because I was a bit worried they might just climb out. But no, so far so good. But in saying that, famous last words. And is this ever going to time out? Are they ever going to attack us? I am genuinely serious when I say that I might actually undraft our settlers so they can go to bed. Though then again, looking at the time, it's actually time for them to almost get up. And we are victorious. Finally. Nonetheless, I think this new design has actually proven itself worthy of Ironhold. Though I've got to nut out a few of the little glitches, such as the fact that a small number of the enemy collected at the end and wouldn't attack. And I say a small number because that's less than half of the enemies that attacked us. We butchered a lot of enemies. The dwarves are going to be having a serious barbecue later on. It's a pity they're not cannibals. Plenty of food. Speaking of which, wouldn't that be a fun run? A cannibal run. Maybe in the future. Now I'm going to undraft everyone, get them fed, get them to bed, rest up, then we can pick up the spoils of war and repair the portcullis. Day 2 of winter, 1366. Now, a little bit of time has passed since we were attacked. Now, I've been sitting here contemplating whether or not to put a couple of towers either side of the portcullis. And because I'm mentioning this, obviously, I have decided that I'm going to be adding a tower either side of the portcullis. I've also decided that this was such a successful trial run, I'm going to delete this balcony we built because I hate it. It looks so bloody ugly. When it was just this one here, it didn't look half bad. The moment I've added this landing at the back here, it just looks out of place. It looks like an afterthought. Why? Well, because it's a bloody afterthought. Look at it. It's horrible. So we'll delete that and be done with it. And you watch, now that I'm deleting this, it's all going to go horribly wrong. And I'm really going to wish that I'd kept it because I will need it. It's usually how it goes, isn't it? So now how are we going to do these towers? Well, it's all going to be pretty straightforward. I still want to be able to access this area, but also I want to be able to access the tower from the back. I don't want the enemy to be able to access the tower very easily. So I want them to have to come all the way down here, break through a set of doors before coming around the back and breaking into the tower itself. Now, as it stands right now, there's not going to be any exit point for the tower. Once they're in the tower, there's one way in, one way out, which I know is quite dangerous for our settlers because no doubt they're going to get trapped. But you know what I'm like. I'll probably build the towers and modify them about 14 different times before I'm completely satisfied with what we've got. So don't go panicking just yet. So first thing we'll do is we need to put down some metal graded floors. One here and one here. Next, we need a limestone block floor here and one here. We need one on this side. And then we need to get rid of this shack. And then finally, there's one last thing I need to do over in this area here before we can plan out the tower. Is we need to come down to this bottom corner here because there's no access around the back of this building as it stands right now because of the terrain in the corner. And we need to tell them just to cut it out right here. That way, the dwarves will be able to come around the back here, nick around through this corner and into the back of the tower. Alternatively, they will still be able to get through from the front. I just like the idea of them being able to access the tower from different directions. Now, the tower's going to be pretty straightforward. A wall there, wall here, and a wall here. A reinforced door here, two grated doors, one there and there, a limestone block arch right here, and then we top it off with limestone block flooring before obviously adding some stairs. First level done. Second level, same as the first, but slightly different, like so. Then the next floor, once again, same but different. And then as you probably guess, the top floor is the same as everything else I've done below. You've all seen a tower belt. This is nothing new. Next, merlons, and then finally a roof right here. Done. Now, as I said, there was nothing special or unique about this tower. I'm building it purely for practical reasons, not for aesthetics. And now once this little shack's been destroyed, we'll do a carbon copy on the exact other side. So now there's nothing left to do but hit play and let them get to work. Day 8 of winter, 1366. And that's the two towers complete. Now, I've got a couple of things to tell you, because one of them is a bug, and it's annoying the hell out of me, and I haven't been able to work out a solution to it just yet, but hopefully I can. But before that, let's talk about some good news. I have now closed the big front doors to Ironhold and the portcullis, making us officially locked from the outside world. Woohoo! I feel confident right now that we can comfortably keep these doors closed. I don't need to trade with merchants, but in saying that, if we're desperate and I have to trade with merchants, well, yeah, I'll have to reopen up both the big door and the portcullis. So that's a bit of good news. And you're probably sitting there going, well, hang on a second, Sterling. Isn't all your waste out the front? Where are you now going to start dumping all your waste? Surely the dwarves don't want to be among it within Ironhold. And you'd be correct. They don't want to be among the waste. So they're not going to be. I sat there thinking, where in Ironhold, in its vast size, would a good place be to add a dumping ground where the settlers are not going to come in contact with it all that often, but at the same time, the animals can get to it easily. And I was a little stumped. I'm like, that's a hard one. And then I remembered I had this massive building that I could use. And I'm not talking about the front. I'm talking about this bloody tower. It's already going to house waste, being the prisoners. May as well also dump all our rubbish in here as well. As on top, we're already dumping the dead bodies. So down below, we may as well dump all our rubbish. And so that's what we're doing. This is now our new dumping zone. So unless I stuff up and need to actually be able to barter and trade with the merchant, we are now officially isolated from the outside world. So then you're probably sitting there going, okay, well, what's the bug? As you can see by the left-hand bottom corner, as of right now, inside Ironhold is classed as inside and under the roof, as we always wanted, because I want us to be separated from the outside world and from the weather itself. And so the game should be thinking of Ironhold as a castle, and all the buildings within Ironhold, rooms. But unfortunately, when I go to the rooms overlay tab and bring it up, yeah, that does not look like it is a castle and multiple different rooms. That there is classed as shared rooms, which is a bloody issue. If I just click on any random settler and come down, you'll see a room of one's own. Why? Because all their bedrooms are being classed as shared rooms. Now, don't get me wrong. They're loving the sheer size of this shared bedroom because it's the entire bloody Ironhold, but this is not what we want. Now, if I come over here and destroy this reinforced door that leads off to the tower, instantly you'll see that Ironhold has now changed. Should have. Bloody well didn't, did it? And now there's a new bug. All the rooms now are classed as what they should be. So each chamber is classed as that particular person's chamber. All of Ironhold is no longer classed as one room, but on the map it is, as you can see by all the blue, which is supposed to be shared chamber. But when you click on shared chamber, there are no shared chambers. Now, at this point, once again, this bug, I'm not sure if it's something I've done by building underneath the ground or if the devs are having a laugh. Either way, it's another annoying bug. So now what am I going to do about this? Well, the only thing I bloody well can do about it is leave this door off for a moment, which is not great because we're in the middle of winter, and then just keep playing silly buggers. Once in a while, I'll put the door back on, see what happens. The next time I restart the game, I'll put the door back on and see what happens. After the next update, I'll put the door back on and see what happens, and just hope for the best. Day 9 of winter, 1366, and I've got some good news and some bad news. I think you can kind of tell by the battle balance up above. The bad news, we're under attack, which is not the end of the world. It gives us a good chance to see how our new towers go. And having a look through the enemy, other than the fact that there's a few of them that have battering rams, they don't seem overly armored, except for the odd bloke here and there. Good news is, I've restarted the game several times now. The overlay is back working, as you can see. All the rooms are separated as they should be, and they're registering correctly. Bad news is I still can't put the bloody door on the thing. Nonetheless, good with the bad. So I've drafted up all our drawers, and we're now ready for a fight. Sneaky buggers have broken in through the side door of Ironhold. It's not the end of the world. They're just bypassing the actual front gate. They'll have to come down a ladder. They'll still end up in this area here, which doesn't really change anything when it comes to the portcullis. They'll still have to be on the other side of that. But that's a bit of a note for next time. I might have to make it a little bit harder for them to be able to access that side door, as that's only there as maintenance purposes. And let's be honest, I don't even need that anymore. Here they come. They're smacking on the door inside of the hallway. Once they're through, they'll be able to then come to the portcullis. While they do that, I'll just mention that if things go a bit awry with these 2 front towers and all 4 of our dwarves are at risk, before they get in any trouble, I'll get them out of the tower and nick them off somewhere safer, perhaps even up in this top tower here. But hopefully it doesn't come to this. Them having one way in and one way out really does actually make me a little bit nervous when it comes to these 2 front towers. We're still just waiting on them to break through this door, which they just have, and they're still not moving. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're waiting for more to regroup, or maybe this is one of these fights where we're just going to be sitting here while they're stuck in a bloody corridor. If this was my end goal, just to constantly trap the enemy in the one place and then just hold them off this way, well, then it was a success. But if I want to actually have a fight and have to defend Ironhold on a regular basis, well, unfortunately, I haven't been overly successful at that. At least there's no risk to the settlers when this continues to happen. Though I'm getting a bit sad. I was actually looking forward to bloody using our new towers to defend Ironhold. Really wanted to see how this goes. Well, that was a bloody waste of time. No one got hurt, no one lost. Game glitched once again, as you can see. There's no end battle thing. But nonetheless, we've defended Ironhold once again. Now it's just a matter of undrafting our settlers and getting them back to work. Day 5 of spring 1367. And what is next for Ironhold? Because as it stands right now, we're not wanting for anything. I'm micromanaging our food, making sure that we've always got only a small amount of food, about 200 meals at any time. And right now, we don't have all that much raw food as we've just planted after winter. Our fields are nice and full and we're waiting for the harvest. But I've been playing with the food quite a lot, micromanaging it, the same as I've been doing with the stimulants. I've got a nice supply still left over that will climb throughout the warmer months. And as for everything else, we've got heaps. We're not wanting for anything other than space. As it stands right now, we've got 3 settlers living in the pub in those poxy little rooms that are temporary, but they've been there for about 2 years now. And we've got 2 settlers living in these poxy little shacks over here that once again are temporary. We need more homes. So where are we going to build them? We've got all this space here yet to clear. And I'd say that's plenty of room for more homes, shops, maybe a great hall, and even maybe a palace for Thorlek the King. So what's next for Ironhold? More bloody digging. That's what's next for Ironhold. Unfortunately, though, that will have to wait for another episode, as this is all the time we have for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.